All right, today we're going to crack open a 2,500-year-old guide to living a good life, the Analects of Confucius. Now, this isn't just some dusty old philosophy. It's a super practical blueprint for building character and finding meaning. And it all kicks off with a really simple but powerful idea.
So the book opens with this absolute gem. Right from the get-go, Confucius just flips our modern ideas upside down. He's arguing that the good life has nothing to do with fame or getting rich. Instead, it's built on three basic joys: the pleasure of learning something and then actually using it, the warmth you get from real friendship, and, maybe most importantly, the inner peace that comes from not needing anyone else's approval. This one idea, it sets the stage for everything else.
So what's the ultimate goal here? What's the whole point of this path? Well, it's to become what Confucius calls a Junzi, basically an exemplary person. You can think of the Junzi as the North Star of his whole philosophy, the ideal that we're all aiming for.
Okay, let's break that term down, Junzi. Now, it often gets translated as gentleman, but we gotta forget that stuffy, old-fashioned image. A Junzi is anyone, man or woman, who is deeply ethical, who is wise, and who is seriously committed to becoming the best possible version of themselves. This is the person we're learning how to be.
So where does this epic journey of self-improvement even begin? You might think it's in a monastery or at some fancy university, but nope. For Confucius, your character is forged right there at home, in your most basic relationships.
This really gets to the core of it. Confucius says the root of your character is how you treat your family. Simple as that. If you can master respect and duty at home, then the path to living a good life, what he calls the way, can grow from that really strong foundation.
And this core concept is called Shaodi. It's the absolute bedrock of his entire system. You know, in a world that's so often focused on individual ambition, this is a pretty radical idea, that your family is the training ground for virtue. Learning how to respect and care for your parents and your siblings, that's how you learn to be a good person out in the wider world.
So you can see the logical flow here, right? You start with this very specific practice of respecting your family. That establishes a solid moral root inside you, and from that strong root, a clear, virtuous path through life, the way, just naturally starts to emerge. It's a beautifully simple, bottom-up way to build character. But look, a strong foundation is just the beginning. It's not a one-and-done thing. To keep it strong, Confucius argues you need a disciplined, daily practice of self-reflection.
Now, this is one of the most practical pieces of advice in the entire book. One of the top disciples, Zengzi, gives us this simple three-question checklist. You can think of it like a daily audit for your own self-improvement. Was I loyal today? Was I trustworthy? Did I actually practice what I preach?
And this kind of daily check-in is what separates the real deal, the Junzi, from what Confucius calls the flatterer. You know, someone who's all style and zero substance. The flatterer uses clever words and a fawning look just to impress people. The Junzi, on the other hand, is focused on cultivating ren, or genuine humanity and integrity. It's about being good, not just looking good.
Which brings us to our next big idea. I mean, all this inner work is pretty pointless if it doesn't actually show up in your actions, right? Your character has to be consistent in every single part of your life. The key virtue here is sin, or trustworthiness. It's really simple when you boil it down. Are you the same person no matter who you're with? Does your word actually mean something? For Confucius, this is basically the glue that holds all of society together. And Confucius shows how this integrity, this sin, has to be applied consistently, everywhere. And, no surprise, it starts back at home. When you're serving your parents, you give your absolute utmost strength. No half measures allowed.
And that exact same level of commitment, it extends outward to your work. In a modern sense, this means in your job, your profession, you devote yourself completely. You're reliable, you're dedicated, you're all in.
And finally, with your friends, your words are trustworthy. Your word is your bond. You see the pattern here? The true mark of a Junzi isn't about being perfect in just one area. It's about applying that same high standard of integrity everywhere, at home, at work, and with friends. That is character.
Okay, so we've built the foundation, we've established the daily practice. But where does all this hard work actually lead? What does it really mean to become wise?
This is probably my favorite metaphor in the whole of the Analects. Self-improvement is compared to the work of a master craftsman on a piece of jade. It's a process of constant refinement. You're cutting away the rough parts, filing down the edges, carving with precision, and polishing it until it shines. It's a lifelong commitment to getting just a little bit better every single day. But here's the million-dollar question. Why are we doing all this work? Is the goal to get that promotion, to be popular, to have people look at you and admire what a great person you've become? Is that the point? And this is where Confucius delivers the stunning final twist. He says, forget about whether people recognize you or appreciate all your effort. The real goal isn't to be known, it's to know. The ultimate sign of wisdom is shifting your focus away from your own ego to a deep and genuine understanding of other people.
And that's really the ultimate takeaway. The path of the Zengzi isn't some performance you put on for applause. It's a quiet, internal journey of self-improvement. The reward isn't fame or recognition, but something so much bigger, the wisdom to truly see and understand the world around you. And that, well, that's a goal worth a lifetime of effort.